Hello, this is Kabo, and in this episode I'll be going through the research and development for the animal breeding system that I was working on in my last survival episode. So in this video we'll be in creative, and we'll be going through the steps that I took to develop the animal breeding system that I will be building. And it ended up becoming a tower design like this, which is quite effective. It's very fast, it rotates through the animals very quickly, and it's very compact in the vertical, so I can put a lot of mobs in a vertical space, and those are the two main advantages of this. They work very quickly and allow for very fast breeding, and allows a lot of mobs in a very small footprint for a mob breeding system. It's only 9 by 13. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the main part of the video, which is the research and development. Before I get started on the content of today's episode, I want to mention something first. You might notice I'm providing a video of a slightly lower resolution than before. Well, it's actually half the resolution. I'm using half frame mode, or half size capture mode on Fraps. Doing this because the file size is getting a bit out of hand. I'm about to fill up a 2 terabyte hard drive with the unedited video. I can probably just delete all of the unedited video now that I'm done with it, but I felt like holding on to it for a while. So for the time being, I'm going to record in half size and see how that goes for a while. I don't think the video quality will drop too much, but I'll definitely be able to record more videos. Another reason I'm doing this is because I want to see what the difference is in editing time and upload time. Should be a lot quicker, because recording at half frame means that you're recording it means that you're recording at a quarter the size of the video, so hopefully it'd be at least a quarter smaller, or I mean at least a fourth the size of the video that I was uploading before, making it a lot easier to edit and a lot easier to upload. But anyway, back to the main part of this video. I'm here in creative, and as you can see, I've set up basically the same thing I had in the not creative world, but for some reason the sheep isn't taking any damage no matter what I do. He's just fine. Like, I tried putting up the slabs on the blocks on the side, like I thought might have been causing the issue. I tried putting a block in the corner here. He'll go through everything, and I don't know what was causing him to take damage in survival. It's just weird. But now that I know this, I should be able to set up the same system over there and get it to work. Just for the heck of it, let me switch to survival. Oh wow, I'm starving. So yeah, even after switching to survival, he doesn't take any damage. So I don't really know what to do about it. I'm guessing probably some weird glitch with direction. I'm not sure which direction I was pointing, or if that has anything to do with it, but it's the only thing I can think of now. It's just so weird. Anyway, I think I like this idea. Let me get rid of the stuff on the side so you can see it. I just put up this outer edge rail thing to refill him, to send him back up to the top, but this will be done differently in the actual build. It will only be like that. So this is the main idea, which of course you saw last time. These slabs are really glitchy. Anyway, they will start somewhere near the top, and whenever these get powered, they'll probably be powered sequentially. So like I'll have the bottom one move out, and then this one will will move out, and that one will move out, and so on. As far up as I need to go. As you can see, it's pretty narrow. I don't have the walls on the side, but if I do it like this, I can probably fit two right next to each other. So I can do like, I don't know, put some walls up here, and then have another track coming out right next to it, like that. So I should be able to fit them pretty closely. The only thing I'm worried about is powering it, how I'm going to run power to all of this. And I haven't really messed around with that yet, but I'll probably do it here in Creative because I'm already, don't mind all that mess. I'm already here in Creative and working on it anyway. Just wanted to show what I've accomplished so far and show you the weird fail that was going on with the survival mode. Still don't know why he was taking damage. Killed a sheep without reason. You didn't see that. Anyway, I'm going to keep working on this more, see if I can get some power running to these, and yeah, just working on it a bit. Then I'll load it up and test it out and show you the results of that. So, alright, so after a little bit of work, I actually didn't take very long, just a couple minutes, I set up these torches. It looks like because of the distance between the levels, I can just have a series of torches going all the way up to the top on both sides. This will probably be a little different in the actual build. I just did it like this to save time this time in Creative, just to get the theory working. But it's actually a long enough delay for them to go from this height to the next height, such that they don't need any pulse limiters or anything. You can actually work within the time of a button press, and some sheep were taking damage there. I think they're taking fall damage here. I don't know what would cause it otherwise. This is just a simple loader for the animals. I tried putting vines there, but for some reason now they're taking damage up here, so not sure if it's a glitch or what, but anyway. Aside from that top part where they're taking damage, they're fine. So once I figure that out, everything should be working okay. Basically, I'll just have them go through just like that. As you can see, there's no issue with the carts getting ahead of themselves, and you can even make a tower of sheep like that. So I'll probably stick with this idea, just have to figure out the top here. It only started happening when I put in the loader, which means it's probably related to the fall from there to there. Not certain though. I'll work on it. Anyway, just wanted to show the progress that I made there, and I'll get back to you once I've made some more. Alright, so I think I figured it out. I think it was the fall damage. I've gotten this rearranged so that they just go in through the side like this now, rather than falling in from the top and taking damage. So if I push the button now, they'll be fine. But before I do that, I want to... Actually, I'll go ahead and do it, just to show. So, as you can see, the guy up there, well, he took damage from falling, but the guy up at the top didn't take any damage, which is exactly what we want. Let's go ahead and load another one in there. And now I have the glass on the side, as you can see. And this is so that when I log out and log back in, we have our sheep. Well, we don't have... There they are. So you can see they're standing outside of the carts now. And if I get them to track me like this, you can see they can't jump outside of the holding area because it's too high, or 1.5 high in the case of the slab. I guess I could use glass there too. But regardless, they can't get out. They're all stuck in there. But when I go and press the button, the minecarts will pick them up and move them along. So everything looks like it's working out well. I think I'm going to stick with this idea. I'll build this into a tower, maybe I don't know, a few high. I'll build a couple next to each other. I'll figure something out. But I just wanted to make sure that the concept was working, and now I'm going to play around with actually getting it to store them and getting them to pop out for breeding and stuff like that. So I'll be working on that for a while, and I'll show you the results of that. Okay, so I've been messing around with this a little bit more, and I noticed two things. So the first thing I noticed was pigs will not work in this. And the reason is because if you have a pig in here, he can actually fit underneath this slab and move into the space here. And with a cart there and a pig there, when you try to trigger the device and get the cart to move, it'll just get stuck on the pig. So we can't use pigs, but sheep and cows should still work. So sheep, cows, and mushrooms should still be able to use those. I'll have to figure out something else for pigs if we're going to use pigs. I saw XisumaVoid's video had the same issue. He couldn't use pigs in his. He had an earlier one that used soul sand to prevent the pigs from jumping and did some shifting of minecart tracks with sticky pistons and stuff like that. But this is a cheap design. I guess I'll just have another pen for breeding pigs in the meantime, and I'll figure out some method of dealing with pigs later. And the second thing I noticed was this is only currently going down. So it'll drop minecarts down, and then they'll come out. And I need some way of getting minecarts up. And I thought, well, I could just have this be a tall tower and send them back up in a big one-way track. But I decided, you know what? It would actually be better if I have a storage system going up as well. So I came up with this thing, which is based on the same idea. You just have a 2-block high area here where if you have an animal in here, he wouldn't be able to get out. You'd want to block him on all of these sides. But he'll still be able to pass through here, and then he'll go up and drop into another one, and it just loops and goes up a few times. So that's, I think, what I will use to send them up. Basically, like I said, it works the same way, just a place to hold the cart, and that flew off because of up there. There's no more places to go, but I would probably connect this to something like that to go have it go down. So I'd have one way going up and one way coming down, and then at the very bottom here, I'd have them come out to the breeder, and they'd be bred and send them back into this track. So it's just one cycle, and they just one big cycle going up and then coming down. And then I'd have, you know, the same thing mirrored on the other side to make the whole breeding contraption. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. This is actually really cheap. It doesn't use much redstone, no repeaters at all. It is a little expensive on the powered rails. They're 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 per level. Yeah, so it can get quite expensive as far as the powered rails go, but it's not too bad. Maybe I could take off the one on the end and make it cheaper. I haven't really played around with it yet. But as far as redstone goes, it's not too expensive. It just uses a couple pieces here along the side to send power up, and then the torches. So that's that. This is the same thing. It's just a little different in size. I made this 3 wide because I was worried the animals could get out, but I realized later that sheep can't fit through through here. They can't jump into these one tall spaces, so it should be fine. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. So the next step is to attach this to something coming down. I'll probably use something like this, but I'm not certain yet. And then after I attach it to that, I can build the breeder, or well, I'll probably have it loop first to test out the looping, make sure everything that works fine, and they can go up and come down. And then I'll probably build a breeding bay area where you have the two animals close together and you can just breed them. So that's the next step. I'll get back to you once I've done some more work on that. Alright, so I put together the tracks going up and the tracks going down, and right now I have it running continuously. I just stuck a lever down on the bottom and pulled it so all of these are on. And what's going on here is basically the sheep will, they'll go up this tower, and then on this side they'll drop down. And this is just like, well, it's not exactly the same. It's a little bit more compact than the first thing that I built. And when they get down here, they just get reinserted here. So this will be different when I actually have the breeding thing set up, but that's how it is now, just to loop through. And right now I'm just looping these guys continuously so that I can check for any spaces where they will potentially take damage. I'm doing this because if you notice, I actually had to change the wiring here. These half slabs that were coming out right here, I thought they were safe here, but like 1 out of every 5 times they would come up here, they'd take damage. So I didn't notice it the first few times, and then when I had them looping continuously like that, I saw that the sheep just kept taking damage at those points, so I had to replace that. So I just switched out some torches here for the redstone, and it still works alright. But anyway, it looks like this is fine. I haven't seen them take damage since I replaced that, so I think it's good. Let me flip off the continuous mode, and let's check their positions, make sure they're all in place so that we can... Yeah, they all look good. Okay, so I'll show you what happens when I press the button. Press it, and they just cycle into the next location. Press it again, and they'll go up into the next location. And when they get down there, as you can see, they reload. So if you watch these two guys, when I press the button, that one from the end comes in to fill the front, and they just keep going. And that's how it works. And like I said, once I build the breeding part and have them, they'll get reinserted from here. This will be different. They'll get reinserted there. So that's what I'll be working on next. Oh, this tower actually, it's a 4x8, so it's actually not as big as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot bulkier than this, but 4x8 isn't actually too bad considering what I had imagined. This currently has 12 slots, but could easily make it taller to have more slots. So I think this is going to work out well. Didn't have to end up using any repeaters so far. Anyway, now I think I'm going to copy this and mirror it on the other side, and then start working on the actual breeding bay area. See if I can get some progress on that. So I'll talk to you again once I've done some work on that. Okay, so I've had to make a few changes to this thing. So this is the same that I showed you last time. Well, it's not the most recent version. I have another version, but it had a problem. The problem is I didn't test it with glass enclosing where the sheep would be. So if I were to put glass here and keep the sheep in, prevent them from jumping off the slide, the problem is I put a cart here and it gets stuck on that glass. This is because it doesn't come around the corner with enough speed, or it doesn't get aligned properly to go into the hole. Regardless of the case, it's not good. We don't want this to happen. So in order to fix it, I made a few changes to the design, and the result is actually pretty good. I ended up saving powered rails. So before it used 5 powered rails, and now it used 1 less per level. Also, it's not too much bigger, so it's right now 6 wide and 8 long, which that's including where the glass would be on the sides. And the improved version is only 9 long, so it's still 6 wide, but it's 9 long now. And remember, that also includes the glass on the side. So actually pretty good. And as you can see here, it uses one fewer powered rail. I have powered rails here, and they're always on. The idea is that the cart will come up here, and because these are on, they'll just catch onto these rails and get pushed along. So the changes that I made, basically, I just extended this out one. So where the top was, I brought it out one, put a powered rail here instead. So now it gets aligned properly and has enough speed coming around this corner. And the result is pretty good. Like I said, one fewer powered rails per level. So it's just 4 per level instead of 5 per level now. It's still fairly compact, I think. It's only 6 by 9, including the sides. And it works quite alright. So over here I've been doing some testing. On the left side here, I have continuous power coming from this lever, and I just have the sheep going in a loop right now, just looping around, just testing to see if there are any jams or clogs, but with continuous power, no jams or clogs. And here I have a clock, and it's a 20 redstone tick clock with a 50% duty cycle. So, it's on for half the time, basically, and off for half the time. So 10 redstone ticks on, 10 redstone ticks off. So 1 second on, 1 second off. And it's just started by the button press there. So on, off, on, off, on, off. And as you can see, no jamming or clogging or anything like that. No sheep taking damage. So it's working really well, I think. And now all I need to do is finalize the breeding bays down here. These I've been testing a little bit, and they work alright. But this is largely based on XisumaVoid's design. It just uses the pistons over the paintings, and when breeding is done, it toggles the pistons with a tripwire. You can also just toggle the pistons with a button there. All I have to do now is wire up a lever to have it do an automatic pulse to these things for automatic breeding mode, and then it will be pretty much the same idea as XisumaVoid's. It's just, running a little differently. But I've had this running for about, 20 minutes, just left it and let it be, and no sheep have died, and it hasn't gotten stuck, so I think it's good for breeding. If you can breed sheep faster than once every 2 seconds anyway, then you'll be able to outpace this clock, which is pretty dang fast in my opinion. So, yep, that's how it's going. All I've got to do now is finish the breeding bay, and it should be complete, and I can actually start to work on it in survival. And of course, because this is vertical, I can easily make it taller and have more sheep. So, that's what I'm going to do next. Alright, see you soon. Alright, so here is the final version of the breeding tower. And it's actually working quite well. But before we talk about how it's working, let's talk about its size. So when I was building this, I was expecting it to get kind of bulky, but it's actually rather compact considering how many sheep are in here. There are 12 sheep on each side, so that's 24. And of course, the more you extend it up, the more sheep or the more animals you can fit in. So it's actually only a 9 by 13 that can fit all of those animals. And since you can keep building in the vertical, you can fit even more. So I think it's quite nice to be able to build this in a tower design. You don't have to worry about going out too far and having your redstone cut off or anything weird like that. So it's quite nice in that respect. And being only 9 by 13 is pretty good. And since I reduced the cost on the powered rails here, it's not nearly as expensive as it was when I first started working on this. So it's just a little bit more expensive in order to build it vertically, and it works quite well. So let's talk about the actual breeding part, this part, the main part. This is this derives a lot from XisumaVoid's design. The same pistons over paintings, so they float on the paintings and then get pushed off by the pistons. And you have a button down here which calls them out. So if you press this button, you can see it calls out the sheep. You'll notice that also the pistons extended. This is just a failsafe in case you already have sheep here and you press the button again by accident. We'll extend those pistons just to knock the sheep out of the way so they don't get jammed up. Now, also, you can see when I breed them, the baby will fall down through here. So he'll fall down and trigger the tripwire down here, which will trigger the pistons to push out and send them back into the bays. So you can have it so that you press the button, breed them, and then they'll go in, and then you can press the button again and cycle through. This little thing down here, by the way, is just a drowning thing so they don't pile up. Don't worry about that too much. So I could cycle them again and bring out more. But if I don't want to go through the process of pressing the button every single time, then I can flip this lever up here. And what happens is it sends power to the back here, which goes to this AND gate. And when this AND gate gets power from both the lever and the tripwire, it will send a pulse through this pulse extender, which will power both sides and cause it to cycle. So basically now it's saying when a baby triggers the tripwire, it will cycle. So I'll go ahead and show you how that works. Baby comes down, triggers the tripwire, and everything cycles. Now I can keep doing this as long as I want, but when I'm done, I want to flip this switch just so that I know, alright, I don't want to breed anymore, and I want to either breed them here so that the tripwire triggers and sends them back, or if I can't breed them here, like say I've gone through the entire rotation and I can't breed anymore, then I'll press this button, this middle button, and it will just, all it does is extends these middle pistons and sends them back to the bays. So when there's no sheep there, you can press these and it won't do anything. So you don't have to worry about triggering something accidentally. And when you press this, it will push the pistons and cycle everything so you don't have to worry about things getting jammed up. And it's pretty much completely fail-safe. It's also log out safe. If I go ahead and log out and log back in, you'll see all the sheep standing outside of their carts, and the animals will be in these areas, but as soon as the carts start moving again, it will pick them up. So it's log out safe for sheep and cows. Pigs and chickens are too small. They can move through those holes and get jammed up, but sheep will work just fine. As you can see, they all move just fine. And here's our next two sheep. We can push them out and send them back in. So that's how it works. When I build this in survival, I'm probably going to do it much taller. The main use of this will be for cows, because really for sheep, I want to be breeding dyed sheep. And what I will probably end up doing with the dyed sheep is I'll have like 16 in one tower and 16 in the other tower, and they'll be matched by color, so I can just cycle through each color. Another thing I might do is I might build it up so that there are 32 in each side. That way I have 2 of each sheep. I don't know, something like that. Just an idea. But that's what I'll do in survival. Anyway, that's all for this episode, really. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you found it informative. Hope it wasn't too boring watching me research this and try to troubleshoot stuff and figure new stuff out. But I had a lot of fun, and so I hope you enjoyed as well. Anyway, like I said, that's all for this episode. And again, thanks for watching. See you next time.